Hello, I'm Scott Soshnick.
And I'm Eben Novi-Williams, and this is the 500th episode of your favorite sports business podcast, the Sporticast.
Unbelievable. It feels like 5,000, but we're at 500. And in true Novi-Williams Soshnick fashion, and like all we have to do, Eben, and I am going to tell the listeners, you take care of a lot of this housekeeping. You know, when we do an episode, we label it up top, episode 202, next one 203, which sounds pretty easy. But apparently we have found that we mislabeled one because you and I thought 500 was going to be the next podcast, right? So how did that happen?
Yeah, it turns out I learned to count up to 400, but after once you get past 400, my brain just it's somehow surprisingly difficult for me to continually label each episode with one successive number higher than the other. Well, but surprise, Christmas came early for us. And
those that know
Scott.
You well, such as me, know you have great difficulty with time zones. Mm-hmm. And I think lots of people do. So I don't want to see. It's just a very funny thing.
Time zone dyslexia.
Well, don't get me. Whoa. I've told you about sniglets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there should be a sniglet, you're saying, for someone who struggles with time zones. What do you think that would be? I won't put you on, but by next episode, by 501, which should be the next episode by my count, come up with a sniglet for someone who struggles with time zones.
I'm going to think of this. Yeah. I'm gonna do this. But
all right. So I'm going to do a little music for 500.
Ooh.
I know we've been together a long time. Mazel tov on 500. Oh, I remember what it was. You want to see how my brain works, though, Novi? How funny is this? This is awesome because it's so perfect. I said to you about 20 minutes ago, there was something I was going to make fun of you about, but I forgot what it was. And you're like, I'll do it live on the show. Do you want me to I'm like, sure, you do that. When you said like 500 in that big way, I was going to I should have bought you a Fudge of the Whale. I was going to say I should have brought you a cake, and Fudge of the Whale came into my head, of course. So I didn't even go to the more difficult Cookie Puss, but we had a conversation the other day and I mentioned Fudge of the Whale. And you looked at me like I had 9 heads. You've never heard of Fudgy the Whale, which is astonishing to me. When I do like the movie references or something, I can get it. You don't understand. It was before your time. The fact that you did not know Fudgy the Whale is beyond my comprehension. And I really hope all of our listeners agree. That's crazy. It's an iconic cake, for God's sakes.
We had this debate at a live event, and then we started asking people, and sometimes people were like, oh, I have no clue what that is. And then other people, including young people, older people, seems to be no age consideration here.
They knew right away. They were just as surprised.
A lot of your references.
Yeah.
But this one, yes, there seems to be a lot of people that are familiar with Fudgy the Whale. I unfortunately was not one of them, but yes, we should have had a cake for each other, Scott. Congratulations.
Yes.
On a major.
Why don't we do 1 and 1? 1 Fudgy the Whale, 1 Cookie Puss, and everybody wins. Everybody wins that day. All right. Oh my God.
Happy to eat both of them.
Now, all right. Here. Now I'll do a little music for something that, we want to talk about. Hold on, I got my music teed up. Huh? I mean, this one,
Sounds very presidential.
Very presidential. This actually looks like a Tale to the Chief. It looks like a visit to Britain or something, but I found this. All right. So the President of the United States, Donald Trump, was at the Commanders game earlier in the week. Do we consider Sunday earlier in the week or the end of the week, whatever? First time a sitting president had gone to an NFL game. And this astonished me since the Carter administration.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. How is a president not going to an NFL game?
I mean, certainly playoff games they have, but yeah, cornerstone of American entertainment.
Yeah.
Right. The most American of cornerstone American entertainment products. And no sitting U.S. president went to any Washington regular season games in the last 50, 60 years. It's really surprising.
Guest of Josh Harris, the owner of the team. And we did hear that Donald Trump wants his name on the new Commanders Stadium, which I think is beyond funny. Of course, it makes perfect sense. But what do you think would happen if Josh Harris said, Mr. President, we'd be happy to do that. We are going to name the stadium Trump, whatever you want to say. I mean, frankly, you should build like they have it at the Meadowlands. There's 4, like main entry points, and one of them should be Trump Tower. Yeah. So you should have a Trump Tower. There's different, right? There's different towers that's fine. I'm okay with that. But he should just say the going rate for the naming rights of a new NFL stadium in the market this size with the international attention because of the hub of politics is $22 million a year. Mr. President, you may have it for 21. Right? What do you think that would be? How's that negotiation go?
Not good, because I don't think he would pay it even if it happened. Well, Josh would never say anything about this publicly, but I imagine that when he bought the Commanders, he was not expecting to in 2025 be dealing with on his stadium and all this stuff to also be dealing with President Trump in the White House. It reminds me kind of, Scott, of and this is something that it happened in international soccer in the past decade or so. But when the World Cup was awarded, the 2026 World Cup, which is coming up rapidly soon, was awarded to the U.S. way back when, the basic thinking, from what I understand, was that it was basically guaranteed to not be a Trump administration. That either Trump was going to get reelected back when he lost to Joe Biden, and then he would not be eligible. He'd be out of the White House, or he was going to lose to Joe Biden and would kind of ride off into the sunset. That would be the end of the Trump presidential career.
My phone is ringing. Steve Bannon, line one.
Yeah, so they misjudged that a little bit. But one of the appeals to giving the U.S., because we have tried to host a number of different World Cups. One of the appeals to letting North America host the 2026 Men's World Cup was that it would get past the concern of the volatility of a Trump administration. Obviously, Trump lost and then won again.
Didn't see a day-night doubleheader coming, did you?
Exactly. So yes, I would think that Josh and a number of people in and around Commanders World, when they were buying this team, were not really factoring in just the difficulties and challenges with having President Trump in the White House and having him wanting to come to games and having him wanting to meddle in the stadium situation. And now having to deal with a sitting president who him and his press secretary are actively pushing for his name to be put onto the stadium. These are headaches that I imagine were not foreseen back when the $6 billion deal happened.
Well, I don't know if I want to get headache specific. I mean, having spoken with Bruce Ratner, who moved the Nets from New Jersey to Brooklyn, I once asked him, if you knew then what you know now, would you have done it? He said, absolutely not. It was that much harder. Having spoken to a number of team owners and executives that pursued projects like Chase Center in San Francisco, say, had you known that? No, it is just beyond difficult. So certainly Josh Harris knew that there would be major headaches. But, and you and I have discussed many, many times, a lot of prospective owners of teams also look for situations where there is the opportunity to create a stadium. They don't want turnkey. They want to be able to have things like networks and practice facilities and stadiums. So they see a value add on having all these things that are added on. But if I may also, headachy, you just did something that's on my pet peeve list. You said the World Cup is quote coming up rapidly. Now, Novi. Time is time. It is not coming up any more rapidly than anything is. But it's approaching, my man. We know the date. We know it's just coming. Same time as always.
Fair, yeah. I don't. I'm not gonna defend my verbiage here. I think that
they teach you at Princeton.
It doesn't feel like given how big the World Cup it is, the biggest international sporting event that you can hold. Given how big it is, it does feel like it's a little bit muted right now for being 6 months out from it starting. I think that will start to ramp up at some point.
And I think President Trump will have a role to play there as well.
100%. And he is Gianni Infantino, who runs FIFA, has cozied up to President Trump very successfully,
smartly.
Yes. In the past 6 or 7 months, we joked in the office about the FIFA's new Peace Prize that they're giving out next year. I think you and I both, if we were betting people, have a good sense of who might.
Let me check Polymarket. Let me check.
But you're right. I think it depending on how this all plays out for the Commanders and for Josh Harris from a stadium perspective, maybe there is opportunity here in getting that done and getting it done in a different type of way than maybe would have been possible under a different administration or a different president. I think there is always kind of a little bit of and a lot of sports team owners are very conservative, and a lot of them have given money to Donald Trump. I do think even in that subset of people, there's a volatility here that scares people, right? And when Donald Trump was pushing his big, beautiful bill earlier this year and talked temporarily, at least, about eliminating a ton of the tax deductions that sports team owners get, that's the kind of thing that, again, even conservative sports team owners are like, what are we doing here? I don't want this. I thought we were doing a different thing here. So yeah, I think that even among conservative and Republican sports team owners, again, of which there are many, I think the kind of volatility of Donald Trump and his platform and the swings of his opinions do leave people a little bit, on tenterhooks or treading on broken glass a little bit.
Now, because this is the 500th episode, I want to be quintessential us. And so one...
Talk about All in the Family?
No. But one, I want to say, I think sports marketers can learn a little something from Donald Trump. I don't remember. Do you remember any bills, the big, beautiful bill? Other people should have, like, the smartest legislation ever bill. Like, do you want to pass this immediately bill? Like, in nomenclature matters. And I don't remember, unless I'm like, I remember bill number 428, farm subsidy something. This is really smart. Like, you're saying it out loud, big, beautiful bill, until the opposition, tried to call it something else. I get it, but I do chuckle that he gets it. He certainly gets it. Now, in the meandering way that our show is wont to do, remind me, though, I do want to come back for a triangulation of everything we've just been talking about.
Fudgy the Whale, American political discourse, and construction.
Now I want to go to something that has got your ire, because we talked about the betting odds of Trump winning the FIFA Peace Prize.
Yeah,
I think going in, you were similarly confident in Watts's ability to deliver a cash prize in the Penske Media Halloween Contest Cutest Kid costume thing. You were as close to counting the money with your son's strawberry picture as anybody could have been. And the results are out. I did not really follow it, so I was prepared to vote for Watts had he made the final group, but I guess I just spoiled it. But Eben, would you like to explain what happened to your son? And I will say his infinite cuteness, but apparently others don't see it the same way. So I really want you to go off here that you are not happy.
I'm not happy, and I'm willing to eat this humble pie or humble Fudgy the Whale cake on air here. Yeah, PMC, our parent company, runs a Halloween costume competition every year. There's different categories. There's adult, there's pet, there's child, and I felt very confident that my son, 9-month-old son, and his homemade strawberry.
You're going to tweet the picture? You're going to tweet the picture so everyone can see?
Maybe. I got to get approval.
You got to get approval
from his mother to tweet.
Yeah, his mother doesn't like that I talk about the life so much, but tough.
All that to say, he looked adorable. He looked great. I thought it was a shoe-in, at least to be a finalist. I was already whipping votes, and I'm walking around the floor.
Yeah, when it comes out, vote for Watts.
When it comes out, you'll see the cute strawberry. I'm sharing the potho. There's 5 winners, 7 finalists, which I've got a problem with that number already. There should be more finalists for 5 winners. And little man not even on the finalist list.
Are you sure you submitted it? Could it be?
I'm sure. In fact, I submitted it accidentally twice because
that's why you annoyed them.
Convention of the file that I messed up the first time. So maybe I was disqualified for trying to double seed the pot. But
dude,
yes,
this hurts.
I was thinking about that $500 already, and not only am I not going to get it, I'm not even going to get a chance to get it because he didn't make the final cut.
Really hurts. Really hurts.
It's painful.
Have you voiced your displeasure to the powers that be?
I have not.
You're just going to swallow it.
I'm just going to develop conspiracy theories in my head.
Okay.
People don't like Sportico, don't like me, and that's why they're taking it out.
Don't like me, so they're taking it out on you. Wow.
Strawberry son.
Read the comments. They don't like me.
Watts will be back with a vengeance next year in the Halloween costume.
The planning starts now.
Exactly. No slow days. We're on to 2026.
Whoa, okay. Anyway, so my triangulation back to that, President Trump is, and I love that it's all sports business connected, and a piece of news that goes out in a press release that nobody probably paid much attention to. The Washington Commanders signed a naming rights deal for their practice facility. Okay, like, does anybody really care, right? But I tucked it away for some reason. I just remember, I remembered it was an AI company. And I'm like, I think that's kind of interesting. I know, AI, but why that team? It's not really good. Nobody talks about the practice facilities. What's the play for the company? And it's Big Bear AI. So I dug a little deeper. So we have the President of the United States. If you looked to his right, after Jonathan Vilma, Pete Hegseth was there. do I say the Department of Defense or War? I'm not sure whether it's officially, but you know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
So Big Bear AI mostly does business with government agencies, national security, and defense sectors. Now I see why Big Bear is involved with the Washington Commanders and maybe the franchise moving forward in a more in-depth capacity as the president and the head of the defense/war department shows up. Clearly, Josh has a direct line to the red phone in the circular office. And the executives knew that and made a play and said, okay, this may make even more. This could be the best ROI on a practice facility naming rights deal that we have ever seen.
And it's a great point. And if you think, kind of again, linking back our conversations, just the fact that for the first time in 7 or 50 years, a sitting president went to or is going to start going to regular season football games is a real benefit for the Commanders, and it's something that you can potentially sell to your partners. There's geographical specificity for some teams in some places that you can't replicate, and in California, it's proximity to Asia. In New York, it's New York City. In Washington, we've talked about it on the show before. The nexus of the political power in the U.S. is sitting right there. And when the Nationals were on the market for a while, we talked about that. It's a place where senators and Supreme Court justices go to games. They throw out first pitches. Football,
take free tickets.
Has been a little different historically, but if the Commanders are back and with an owner that fans like and are looking to build a new stadium and the president is going to games, all of those things do matter in a sense for sponsorship sales and things like that. So yes, if you're a Washington DC sports team of any sort, and the Capitals and the Wizards certainly have leaned into this as well, the fact that you're right at the cradle of American democracy and there are politicians that are consistently going to games and are showing up and are in boxes, that really matters for people, as you're saying. Big Bear AI, who has government contracts and maybe wants more of them, the Qatari investment into monumental sports, the Wizards and the Capitals. I don't think that's a coincidence that the first major Middle Eastern sovereign wealth fund deal into American franchise ownership happened in Washington, D.C. There's geographic things here, and for the Washington, D.C. NFL team, there is absolutely value in Trump showing up. I don't think Trump is going to be displacing any play-by-play callers, Scott, anytime soon. I don't know if you caught the bit of the.
I didn't catch it live, but because everybody was talking about it in the office, I went and watched it. Oh my God. Brutal.
Yeah, it's if you've listened to him talk, it's exactly what big wow, big play.
I don't expect him to know the name of the running back, but have a little fun. Say hand it off to the left, hits the hole, gain of 4, whatever it was.
A lot of hyperbole there, that's for sure.
It was very tough. Now you tell me. I'm looking forward here because it's Big Bear AI, but there's also a company called Big Bear that's buying up a lot of hockey rinks and things. Should we? You want to go look for? Can I do a youth hockey episode? What do you think?
Yes.
I think we should, right? I mean, I know, obviously I know a lot about it. The fight for rinks, we have Live Barn is obviously close to being sold. Private equity's there on a 400 or 500 million, maybe. So it's a technology play. Did you see the story with the Dallas Stars? They're being investigated for sort of monopolizing and buying up
one for a while.
Yes, but now it looks like the government's on it. Like they are looking into whether the Dallas Stars sort of bought up all the local rinks and ice sheets in the Dallas area and are making let's just say making it more costly for the kids to skate. So very interesting story. I think I'm gonna get a couple guests and we should talk, because I do youth hockey because obviously it dominates my life. But I think it applies to all the sports. Whatever I say about hockey will apply to Perfect Game, Ripken, bought in by Harrison Blitzer. So I think it's fungible, transferable.
My understanding on youth sports, and I think youth hockey falls in this category, is that it's been so decentralized across the U.S. forever. And there's real opportunity there for people who want to invest and roll things up. And there's obviously a lot of institutional and smart money looking at colleges right now. But the challenges with colleges is that there's just so much structure. There's so much national, the NCAA governing body. There's conferences,
the conferences, the
fungible,
universities,
there's universities,
some public, some not.
Yeah. There's so much infrastructure around big time college sports right now. But from my understanding, most big time youth sports doesn't really have that same kind of structure, which makes a larger addressable market, obviously, as well, but makes that a ripe investment opportunity, because you can buy up a bunch of things and make really big changes fairly quickly in youth sports. And a lot of people are finding that in the college sports world right now, change is extremely slow, if it happens at all. And it's not easy, even if you're dangling large sums of money. It's not easy to come in and make big change very quickly.
To use a hockey term, dangle. Don't dangle anymore. We have too much dangling at the blue line. We're losing it. We lost 3-2 in Rochester. Sunday? What's today? Monday? Yeah.
Monday.
God, it feels like I can't. So yesterday, driving home in the rain from Rochester, J-Man in the net, lost 3-2 to Bishop Kearney. Saw 39 shots, played well, but you never want to drive 5 hours in the rain after you just lose a game.
Bishop Kearney, sister campus to Bishop Sycamore? Or,
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea. I don't know. But I did look to my right just now, and I saw this. And do you know why I can segue with a pencil?
Oh, boy.
No, not bad.
Sharpening your skills.
No, that's a good one. If I had skills to sharpen, that's debatable. No, because there's a whole lot of ESPN personalities, including Mina Kimes, that would like to erase their deal with that solitaire company. See what I did there? Pretty good, right? That wasn't bad. I mean, kudos to Mina. And full disclosure, we worked with Mina at Bloomberg, a few years ago. Always thought her writing on the financial matters was great. Big fan of Mina Kimes. Didn't know she had such a passion for the NFL, and to see what she's done, great. I love it. But when you put your name on something, 101, maybe do some diligence, and I'm not scolding her. It's, I get it. But the solitaire company that Stephen A. Smith came out promoting, and I guess the other personalities, or some of the other personalities at ESPN, had also co-signed on that thing. And it turns out that they're being investigated. It's not where reputational harm could happen. And she just called it a colossal F up, which it was. She just said, my bad, I didn't do the diligence, and I should have. A colossal F up.
It was a colossal mistake, and it says something about the way that marketing works now. Where this company, Papaya Gaming is the parent company. They have a solitaire cash app where you can play solitaire against other people for money. And Stephen A. Smith, I'm sure you'll remember, Scott, went kind of viral, I think last year during the NBA finals, when he was playing solitaire on his phone courtside during one of the games, or on the ESPN studio coverage. So they were leaning into that kind of virality. Obviously, the solitaire company did a deal with Stephen A. Smith. I'm sure they paid him a lot of money. They also paid, as you said, a number of his ESPN colleagues, Mina Kimes being one of them, Laura Rutledge, Dan Orlovsky, Kendrick Perkins,
good for you with names.
Interact with his tweet about the solitaire company. So they were all kind of like challenging him to solitaire cash games and things like that. And it looked, I think, on its immediate face, like kind of a clever use of something that went viral a little while ago, an insider sports meme, and kind of this blending of social media and advertising that has become so ubiquitous. And then obviously people started looking at this company, and it turns out that they had cease and desist letter in Michigan, I believe, for fraudulent activity. They've been sued by a rival, Skills, which is an NFL portfolio company. They've been accused of, instead of having humans play against humans in solitaire for cash, they were playing against bots who had the upper hand. So they've been accused of defrauding companies or customers. They gamified some sort of relief policy for refugees in Israel of the Israeli-Gaza war, which I tweeted about, and it's a very, very strange kind of comments by their CEO about gamifying essentially disaster relief in Israel. It's a company that doesn't seem like the kind of company that someone like Mina Kimes wants to partner with. And you nailed it. I think that I was surprised to see her participating in this. And then now that it's become clear that this was a bad idea, I'm not that surprised to see that she is at least the most forceful and most verbal person to come out and say, yeah, this was a mistake. And she's
written so much about the other side. She should have known, right?
Yeah. And again, does this make it less likely that this happens in the future? Maybe, maybe not. Again, I imagine there was a lot of money tossed out here, both to Stephen A. and to his colleagues. But
Reminds me of FTX.
yeah, I mean, and the crazy thing is, we're just in a different the gamification of American society, and I do want to transition to some sports betting stuff that we want to hit at the end in a second. This is a good transition, but yeah, the speed at which everything is getting gamified, the way in which gambling laws are being either directly or inadvertently skirted, depending on who you talk to, with prediction markets and the push now fantasy gaming and sweepstakes gaming, right, which is a whole different category that some regulators are cracking down on and some are not. But yeah, this all feels like it is part and parcel of the same attention economy and the same gamified sports economy. And maybe Mina Kimes never does this again, but this is going to be a continuous theme, I think, moving forward in our industry. The people who are spending money to advertise and partner and do things on social media are the people who are gamifying all these things, whether it's cash for solitaire or sports betting or prediction contracts.
Also, that will be a thing that is perpetuating, is we're going to see allegations that athletes were doing some nefarious things, and whether it be prop bets or throwing games or whatever it may be on the macro side. I mean, all the news stations this morning, talking about the Cleveland Indians pitchers, and whether or not they did or did not intentionally, to tip off gamblers as to what one was. I was going to throw a ball on this pitch, and all of a sudden, somehow in focus has become the in-game betting, or otherwise known as prop gaming.
Yeah,
which I don't get. Like, it's not that it could be anything. I understand this is miss a free throw, make a free throw, throw a strike, but like, we've talked about this a million times on the show. The reason that the authorities were alerted to this was because there was a market by which you could see who was betting. If this is just pushed underground, do you think it won't happen because FanDuel and DraftKings wouldn't exist and nobody's betting on their phones? Do you think this didn't exist prior to legalized sports betting? You're out of your mind. You saw the suspicious betting activity is actually addressed and found out.
And we talked on the show about one of these. So two Cleveland Indians, two Guardians pitchers were arrested, or one of them was arrested, but they've both been charged by the Eastern District of New York for bet rigging. We talked about one of them, which is Luis Ortiz, who details have come out before, but basically tipped people off allegedly that he was going to throw a ball to start innings of two different games. And I have clips of those two pitches, Scott. We put them in Club Sportico a few weeks ago. Yep. They're laughably bad, right?
Yeah.
They're like,
well, you can't risk. You cannot risk that somebody's going to accident anywhere close. Somebody might swing at it, right?
Exactly. And then it turns out, according to the 23-page indictment here, that Emmanuel Clase, the closer, definitely the better of the two pitchers, mm-hmm. one of the more successful relievers in Major League Baseball in the last few years, that he was tipping off people onto the speed of pitch markets. So he was telling people on this pitch, I'm going to throw a pitch faster than 94.5 miles an hour. On this pitch, I'm going to throw a ball that's slower than 94.5 miles an hour. On that one, he spiked a ball and a slider into the dirt. So yes, it's easy to see why athletes think they can get away with this. It's also, given the if they're doing it in public markets and the level of sophistication of integrity monitoring, it's also easy to see how you get caught.
How many dollars do you think are bet on a Class A pitch normally?
Yeah, not
$5?
that much. So when someone, I think this was a $27,000 bet, maybe a $38,000 bet, something like that. So that's a lot of volume. And when you see that just randomly on a single pitch, and the person who's making that bet gets it right and isn't doing much more, that sets off alarm bells everywhere. But I think the thing that I find most interesting, and we could talk about college basketball as well, because the NCAA suspended 6 athletes indefinitely over the weekend as well. The fact that the government now seems more interested in sports betting fraud than it ever has, and this is baseball players have been indicted. We've had obviously the big NBA.
Cash Patel shows up at the news conference.
100%. The FBI reached out to UFC a few weeks ago before actually a match in which it appears an athlete threw a match in Las Vegas a week and a half ago. That was also federal investigators. If it is true that investigators in New York and Pennsylvania are really front burnering this issue, we are going to see, I think, a lot more of this. We're going to see a lot more athletes rolled up. College basketball, particularly susceptible here. And ESPN has written in the past about investigations that are still ongoing in college basketball, but it has the perfect mix of micro bets that are easy to manipulate, a sport in which individual people have outsized control because there's only 5 people on the court at a time, and star players particularly have a lot of influence. They're athletes at small schools where they're not getting paid very much. There's not a lot of expectation that you're going to have a very lucrative professional career in the future. And unlike a SEC or Big Ten major basketball game, the protections in place at a lot of these smaller conferences are just way less strong. So for a lot of reasons, I think that if the federal regulators really care a lot about bet rigging, about point shaving, about fraud across American pro and college sports, the college basketball feels like it is particularly susceptible. And I would expect not just NCAA punishment, which we saw on Friday, but I would expect some federal investigation punishment. This is the much scarier of the two. I would expect that to come relatively soon in college basketball as well.
Now, did I say Indians in Cleveland?
I said Indians, actually.
Oh, I can remember if I did. I do it all the time. Sometimes I still say the Chargers are in San Diego and the Rams are in St. Louis. If you don't remember Isaac Bruce, go look it up. And again, in the weird way the brain works, I'm sorry, when you said, that they were playing against bots, again, my brain, I'm sorry for this. All I kept thinking was bots win, Watts does not.
Oh God,
that's what went through my brain.
I did not
bots win, Watts lose.
It hurt me, my friend. It hurt me
I'm
deep
sorry.
in my heart.
I'm sorry. I just want you to know, and I think I mean this, 100% honesty, that had he advanced through the to the medal round, I would have, put my vote in for him.
I do. Thank you, my friend.
Yep, you got it.
Congratulations, Scott.
I haven't seen the others, but I'm telling you that Watts was damn cute. So I want to see. I'm going to go look and see what did this to Watts.
I'm not gonna malign anyone else who did qualify.
No, I'm not gonna malign. I'm not gonna malign the uglier kids.
Do believe my son should have been included at least as a finalist. But
Rosacea ain't cute. I'm going to look. That's all I have to say.
Well, congratulations, Scott, on 500. When we do 1,000 episodes, we'll do.
I would have combed my hair much better. I would have worn something. I would have gotten the Fudgy the Whale or the Cookie Puss if it was sold out. Had you counted correctly. We were planning for the Thursday show to be 500.
Maybe I'll miscount again, and we'll do another 500.
Yeah, maybe. It's 500 all over again. Yeah, there we go.
He is Scott Soshnick. You can congratulate him on Twitter at Soshnick. I am Eben Novi Williams. I am on Twitter at Novi_Williams. The show is produced by Justin Greenewald. Thank you very much, Justin. Scott plays music in your honor.
Hail to the Chief music.
And
who's coming after us for Hail to the Chief? Trump will sue us. You're right. Trump will sue us. Hold on.
The show at Sporticast, which is the hub of the Sportico Media Network.